Hey Cafe crew, it's Colin Smith here from Photoshop Cafe, and today I'm going to show you how to create a really cool out of bounds effect inside of Photoshop. So the out of bounds effect is a really cool effect that maybe you've seen before where something is just leaping out of a photograph. So basically what we do is we make it look like the photo is in a frame and the object is actually bursting out of the frame. It just adds a bunch of three-dimensionality and also just a lot of visual impact as that object just appears to be leaping right at you out of the screen. I'm going to show you how to do that. And the kind of thing that lends itself well to that is things like this. Sports images, action images look really good. So here's a photograph I got of this kayaker. I got this from Adobe Stock. So don't forget to check out Adobe Stock, by the way. You can grab 10 free images from there. Check out the link underneath. And also, if you're a photographer, you want to contribute, get your photo in front of millions of people, and also make some extra money, check that out in the links underneath. So let's start on this tutorial right now. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to cut out our kayaker, but there's a new feature that was actually added yesterday inside of Photoshop CC under the Select to Mask option, and that's Select Subject. So if I click on there, it's going to use Adobe Sensei, which is artificial intelligence, to figure out what the subject is and make a selection around it, and look at that. It did a pretty good job. Now, there's a few little things to know about that. I'm going to be making a new tutorial tomorrow, so check that out. I'm going to talk more about these new selection features. So for now, if you don't have that, just use your quick select tool and go around there, but you can see we've got a good start there. Now we're going to choose select to mask. And there's one little refinement I want to do to this. It's looking pretty good. But one of the things I always love to do is to turn on show edge. And then I'm going to turn this edge detection up just until we start to see that edge. See that? And we're going to turn that back off again. And what that's going to do is it's going to clean it up and make a sharper edge, a better selection. So we're just going to go down here and we want to output to a new layer with layer mask. And then we just click OK. And now we've got a new layer with a layer mask. Now, if you have Photoshop CS6 or earlier and you don't have access to this feature, just use, the quick selection tool or other selection methods. I've got tons of tutorials on selections. Just check out my channel or photoshopcafe.com for detailed tutorials on how to cut things out. So what we've got now is we've got this guy on its own layer, and then underneath we've just got the photograph by itself. Okay, so what we want to do here is, let's turn that back on. I'm going to create a new layer in between. And what we're looking to do is to create a rectangle around here, and this rectangle is going to look like the photographic frame. Now, here's the thing I want to do with this. I want to make this frame look more alive and more dynamic than just a rectangle. So I'm going to create a rectangle, and then I'm going to skew it and warp it so it looks more three-dimensional, and I'm even going to give it a little bend to just really make it feel like it's flexing. So let's do that right now. So the first thing we want to do is grab our rectangle tool. And if that's right there, you'll see it hiding under the line tool. Make sure we choose pixels. The color doesn't matter. Right now I've got white. It's completely irrelevant. We're just doing it for the selection. Make sure we're on the new layer. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to click and drag around to define the area that we want to be the picture frame. So there's pretty good. And you can see already, we can see how this is bursting out, but this is nothing compared to what we're going to do. So I'm just going to hit the V key to go back to the move tool. And then we want to transform this rectangle, making sure that rectangle is still selected. We're just going to hit Command T. And it'll be Control T on Windows to activate Free Transform. Free Transform enables us to start dragging these little corners and doing different things. Now we're going to do a little bit more than that. So if we hit the right mouse button on Windows or we Control click on Mac, it brings up a menu that gives us other things that we can do with the transform. And what I want to do is, I don't want to use perspective, although that would seem like it would be the best option. I'm actually going to use warp. Because when I choose warp, I can grab these corners independently, and notice it kind of bends. And that's what I'm sort of going for with this. So I want to kind of make it bend a little bit. So let's kind of drag that down a little bit. And here, and we want to just kind of pull this up so we've got some perspective going on. Maybe up a little bit more. You can see how we're kind of getting this bend. Now we can grab these ones in the corner here, and we can do that to get a nice kind of a warp, just kind of like you would get with a sail, imagine. And you can also click on these regions and manually do it. So we're just looking for something that seems to be bending and flexing a little bit. That's pretty good. Maybe drag it down a little bit more. The more we pull these edges, the more dramatic and extreme that is going to get. So we don't want to get too extreme, but that's pretty good. So I'm just going to hit enter to apply that. And now what I want to do is I want to make a selection around there. So I'm just going to control click to make that selection. And what we're going to be doing now is we're just going to be using this selection. There's a couple of different ways we could do it. In fact, let me show you another way. Is if I drag this underneath and we just turn that padlock off, we drag that layer above it. And now if I go in between the two, see this the image and our background where we made our square, and I hit the Alt or the Option key, you see this little arrow. Tap. And what it will do is it will clip in there. And this is actually a good way of making that selection if we want to make it non-destructive, because within here, I can actually move this around. See that? I can recompose this, and it's completely non-destructive. Now, I can also move this layer around, but it's going to mess up if we don't do the top as well. So if I hit the Shift key, I can move these around as well to recompose this shot exactly how I want to have it bursting out of the frame. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now, there's a couple of things I want to do. I want to put a little white outline around there. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to make a selection. Notice I've done that there. And then I'm just going to create a new layer. And then what I want to do is just contract this a little bit. So I'm going to choose Select, Modify, and everything to do with modifying selections are there. And we're going to choose to contract. And let's contract this by, I don't know, let's try 15 pixels and see how it looks. Maybe a little bit more. So we're going to choose Select again, Modify, Contract, and maybe let's do it another 15. There we go. And that's going to give us a pretty good area. But remember, this area is selected. We want to select everything else. So we're going to Command-Shift-I, or that'd be Control-Shift-I on Windows, to inverse. And we can tell we've got marching ants around here and marching ants there. So now we've selected this region, and we just want to fill that with white. So there's a couple of different ways of doing this. Actually, there's many different ways of doing this, but I'm going to take advantage of this clipping group. So I'm just going to fill the whole thing with white. And notice we've got white for the foreground color. Just make sure you've got white selected. And then just hit Alt-Delete, and that would be Option Backspace, or actually Option-Delete, Alt-Backspace on Windows. And then what it's done is it's just filled the area with white. And if we also clip it, we can see now we've got our white outline around there. Now we could have done a stroke. There's many different ways. And, why don't you drop in a comment how you would have done that? Because in Photoshop, there's a million different ways of doing anything. And this is just kind of the way we're doing it right now. Excellent. So what we've done is we've kind of got the outer bounds. We've got a little bit more to go, though. We're going to add some shadows to give it that depth and realism. And we're also going to drop something in the background so we don't have the transparent area around there, although, well, it doesn't look too bad. So why don't we try that first? Let's create a new layer, and we're just going to drag this to the bottom, and I just want to kind of create a gradient. So why don't we grab something like maybe this blue's kind of nice. We'll base it off there. We're going to reduce the saturation, maybe make it darker, and we're going to hit the back key there, and I'm just going to tap on there. So what I'm doing is selecting the same color again. So we selected the background picker rather than the foreground picker to bring up background. Notice that. And by tapping there with the eyedropper, we've selected the same color for the foreground and the background. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to maybe brighten it up a little bit and reduce the saturation. There we go. And now we've got that foreground background. Grab our gradient tool, set it to linear, and just drag it down. And just play around until we get something that we feels good. Like maybe something a little bit more, maybe even more abrupt. Maybe something very abrupt like that. So it kind of looks like a desktop. What does it look like the other way? I think I kind of like it that way. That looks good. Excellent. So now we're just going to do our shadows, and this is really what's going to make our whole thing pop right now. So I'm just going to add, on the very top, I'm going to add first of all, to our frame. Why don't we add a drop shadow to our frame? So we're going to select it right now, and what we're going to do is grab this actual area that we're clipping to, because this is where we're going to add our shadow, and we're going to create a drop shadow. Let me just drag that out of the way. Now, one of the things with the drop shadow is you can drag this around manually. And I think I want to go this way a little bit. I'm going to drop down the opacity quite a bit and also the size. So there we go. We're going about there for our distance. Now we hit the size a little bit just to kind of soften it. There we go. Now it looks like it's kind of popping. Maybe give it a little bit more of a shadow. So we're at like 50%. That's not bad. Click OK. So that's looking good. Now we just want to add a shadow on this. Now, there's so many different ways of doing this. Just like, you know, everything else, there's a ton of ways of doing it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new layer. And I'm going to pop that new layer underneath here. And I don't want it to be clipping. So let me just hit the Alt or the Option key and pull that out. So we get a new layer right there. And now what I want to do is I just want to paint my shadow in. So I'm just going to grab a black brush, grab the brush. Make sure we get a soft brush, which means that hardness goes all the way down. Let's drop that size down a little bit. I'm going to go up a little. I want it to kind of match there. That's not bad. And also I'm going to hit the D key to reset the foreground background color. So now we're going to be painting with black. Now remember, the light direction is coming down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start under there and I'm just going to paint. Now don't worry if it's too dark. We can adjust this in a minute. And actually I went too far there. Let me just go into here. Let's do it like that. Let's drop the size down a little bit so we can just kind of get a little bit of a shadow there. I think it'll just be kind of interesting. And let's increase the size of that shadow again. We're going to drop it down here. And we're just going to kind of paint that in by hand. And the reason we're doing that is because if we apply it to here, it's going to just kind of look weird. It's not going to work. So anyway, what we're going to do now is we're just going to adjust our opacity so it matches the rest of the shadow. So let's just play around with that a little bit, just slowly bringing it down so we get a pretty close match there. And if we want to smoothen it out, we could add a blur. Let's just choose Filter Blur. Give it a Gaussian blur, a Gaussian blur, Gaussian blur. There we go. And notice that just smooths out some of our moves there. And there we go, guys. There we have it. There's our out of bounds effect. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, if you want to grab some free images from Adobe Stock or you want to become a contributor, click on that link underneath. Check it out. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, smash that like button into dust. If you like these kind of tutorials, I'm doing new tutorials at least once a week, usually 2 to 3 times a week. Hit the subscribe button right now, become part of the Cafe crew. Maybe you've been watching these videos and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet. Hit it right now, become a subscriber, and also hit that little bell, get the notifications, and you're going to know when I have a new tutorial. So did you guys enjoy this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments underneath. Also, let me know what you'd like to learn next. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, I'll see you at the cafe.